I'm TrekTrav, and this is my first Star Trek the Animated Series review, Beyond the Farthest Star. This is episode 1, and I was genuinely surprised. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and come back, because these will be weekly. So the episode opens up with them discovering a ship. Now, I'm just going to say it. This is a really cool ship. Like, of course, you don't see it in any 3D angle, but it's actually just a really, really cool looking ship. They beam over. They notice holes in the side of it. There's no one there. They estimate it's 300 million years old. Before life came on Earth, I'm sensing there might be some science wrongness in here. But they beam over, and they're wearing, and it's just a couple of things. They're wearing a belt that projects a shield so they can walk around and they can breathe and all of that stuff. And all I keep thinking is, why haven't they used this in any other Star Trek? Because it looked really, really cool. So they're on this ship. They find a door. They go in the door. There's a giant laboratory computer area. They find a message, and one of the door behind them starts glowing because someone's trying to break through. In the message, it says, "We have tried to stop this entity. It almost destroyed us. The only thing we can do is destroy the ship." And just as it finishes, big explosion, and the ship starts blowing up. Kirk, Spock, Scotty, and Bones beam back to the Enterprise, and they bring along a green glowing glob, which is exactly what the original series would have done in its case. But they go back to the bridge. There's also in the bridge, they set up a defense mechanism, which is a ball with laser points on it, which I thought was really cool. I'm like, why isn't this in any other Star Trek? Not to mention this alien. I know that they have names. I don't know. And I want to be honest with you, I haven't watched a lot of Star Trek the Animated Series. So this is sort of my first go-through. I've watched a couple of episodes, but this is my first go-through of Star Trek the Animated Series. Completely. So the alien comes aboard, slowly takes control of the ship, removes life support from certain sections. It's really clever because it splits into bits and sort of takes control of the transporter and stuff like that. It willingly lasers Spock to stop him doing something. They isolate the navigation control so the alien can't take over where they're going. Then Kirk does this with his belt. And I don't know what he did, but it stopped the alien from hurting Spock, and somehow they got permission, and I don't even know. But it's very quick, it's fast-paced, because obviously they're very short episodes. And the alien says, let's go to warp. So they had mentioned to escape the gravity of this planet, they could do a slingshot around it. And Kirk asked Spock, can you do those things in your head? Well, guess what? In Star Trek 4, he also does calculations in his head with guesswork, which I liked. I thought, maybe that's a nod in Star Trek 4. So Spock is immediately they're coming up with this plan. Kirk goes and he's trying to sort of stop this thing, and then they hit the button, and the ship slingshots around, and the alien is pulled back towards the gravity well of this planet, and it's bonds with this planet. So the alien's intentions were getting out and bonding with, say, a starship or a planet or something, because it's a symbiotic life form. It has to be with someone in order to survive. So Kirk is obviously lasered and he's pretty damn hurt. Spock checks if he's okay. And then we hear this. I'm sorry. An alien screaming out from the planet going, "Don't leave me, help me, I'm alone," really wasn't the emotional journey that I thought I was going to take. It was genuinely, I'm going, oh, they should help this alien. Obviously they're not going to, because there's 2 minutes left in the episode. But the alien just gets left on this planet, and I genuinely felt sympathy for this alien. I'm like, oh, that's a bit horrible. Now, do you know what? That ending with the alien saying, help me, genuinely, I was like, oh, this is good. Really surprised, because to be honest, I avoid the animated series because I think that maybe it's a lot of shit. But this was really good, and there was The only thing I had was the first like 10 minutes were just them talking to each other. And as much as I love techno babble and stuff like that, it just felt a bit like we don't want to do too much animation work because I swear they copied the same animation like 4 or 5 times. This is done by Filmation and it came out in the 70s. And you could tell that it was done on the cheap. It's really great hearing Shatner and Nichelle Nichols and Leonard Nimoy and Scotty, although James Doohan also does the transporter chief in this, and he puts on an English accent. And the only way to show that he has a proper English accent is he has like a twirly moustache. I'm genuinely like, that is just silly. His English accent is terrible as well, but his Scottish accent isn't perfect. But yeah, it was genuinely a really surprisingly good episode. The animation is really difficult to sort of go with, but it does allow for things like the alien ship looking really cool, or that alien who's driving the ship to look really, really cool with his 3 arms. And I genuinely think that it's one of those things where maybe the writers felt a lot more freedom to do what they wanted to do, obviously in a shorter amount of time, so they had to limit themselves. But it was really good. I was really happy with this. What did you think of Beyond the Farthest Star? Make sure to write it in the comments or tell me what you think of the animated series in general. I'd love to know. I have been TrekTrav, and have a good night.